This is Jamie Magrich. Welcome to Jamie's Craft Table. Today I'm going to show you how I made this card. It's got a little tea bag in there. You could put chocolate in there if you wanted. I just thought that was cute. Okay, so let's get started here. I'm going to be using the Joyful Life, this little piggy. I'm using this, and then a little something for a great person. So I'm just using the one stamp set today. But I am bringing in this die here from the Intricate Leaves dies. And then the Tasteful Textile 3D embossing folder. Okay, I've already cut out that leaf. This is out of Cajun Craze. It's just a scrap. Okay. And my pieces. There's a lot of little pieces, but 5/8 inch by 2.5 inches. That's the white. 3/4 by 2 3/4 inches, and this is the layer to go behind that. I have a 2 5/8 by 2.5 inch piece of white, and then the layer that goes behind that is 2 7/8 by 2 3/4. And I have a piece of pear pizzaz, which is 3 inches by 4 1/4 inches, that I have run through that embossing folder. And then I have a 4 by 5 1/4 inch piece of that designer series paper, that Pattern Party designer series paper. I have a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch piece of calypso coral. And then my card base, 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, scored and folded at 4 1/4. Okay, so let's put these aside for now. And let's put these black layers aside for now. And first thing I'm going to do is, let's go ahead and ink this and put it aside. I'm going to bring in Cajun Craze and one of our finger daubers. And I'm just going to put a little ink on my finger dauber. I don't know if you can see that. And then I'm just going to put a little ink on the outside of this, just to make it look like it has another layer behind it. I didn't want to add another layer of paper, so it already has quite a few, but I needed it to have a little bit of definition. So just ink in the edge. You could run it through your ink pad, but I don't know. I like this technique better. Okay. Now we're going to bring in these two pieces. On this piece, now we want to make sure that the longer side is portrait. It's just a little bit different, so if you goof, it's not going to matter. You just want to make sure it goes up and down that way. We're going to put this little one below it here. And first thing we're going to do is bring in our piggy. And let's move the Cajun Craze ink because we don't need that. Oh, I'll actually close it, and I just stuck my finger in it. So open Early Espresso. I'm stamping in Early Espresso today. So I'm going to ink up my piggy down at the bottom of this piece, like just 1/8 of an inch from the bottom, but centered side to side. I'm going to stamp my little piggy. Okay, and I'm going to come in, and I suppose I better bring in a scratch paper. Here's one. And this little stamp here, and I'm going to stamp all the way around the outside edge just to add a little something to it. You can stamp off the page a little bit. It's fine. You're not going to do the bottom under the pig. You're just going to do the two sides and the top. And make sure you get this little strip too, because when I originally did it, it was all one piece, and then I decided I wanted to take this piece off. So a little bit across the top. Okay, now it's all the stamping. Now we're going to come back in with our Cajun Craze and our ink dauber. And we're going to start on our scratch paper or on our work surface, and we're going to just add a little bit of this Cajun Craze all the way around the edge. If you need to turn your paper so it's more comfortable to do, you can do that. And you want to do the bottom as well, all the way around, all four edges. And you'll notice I dab off on my scratch paper a little bit. That's just so I don't get a harsh edge. Let's do the same thing on this one. Oh, I forgot to stamp the sentiment, didn't I? So we still have stamping to do. Okay, so we're done with the Cajun Craze. Let's come back in with Early Espresso and stamp that sentiment. It goes on this. A little something for a great person. I'm going to stamp it right in the center. Okay. Alright, now we can start putting this card together. Let's bring in these layers. 3/4 by 2 3/4 inch piece of black. That's going to go our white, whoops, where is it? Yeah, 5/8 by 2.5 inch. We're going to mount these on top of each other. Bring in my Tombow Mono multi-glue. Go ahead and put some glue on that. And the black layer is just a tiny bit longer than the white layer. It's going to add just a little bit of extra width there. Okay, and then we're going to do the same thing with our pig, which was 2 5/8 by 2.5. We're going to bring in our black layer, which is 2 7/8 by 2 3/4. Oops, make sure you got it the right way. These layers are a little bit bigger than the one I did on here because I didn't want it. 2 5/8 is, I just glued it on and then trimmed it close, so it wasn't really a measurement. Okay, now we're going to put some dimensionals on the back of these. Let's put one more here. And they're going to go on here. Oh, we didn't color them yet. Well, we'll just do it when we put it on the card. So we're going to put that one up here. This one will go below it. I should have colored him before I mounted him to this, but I got too excited. Bring in that leaf. It's going to go here. And this is going to help hold it on. Okay, so now to color him, I'm going to bring in some blends. I have a light granny apple green. I have a light petal pink. I have dark pumpkin pie, dark petal pink, and light flirty flamingo. So the first thing I'm going to do is color the pig. So I'm going to take the dark petal pink, and I'm going to do the dark petal pink underneath the scarf and down one side of his body, and at the underneath side of his body here. I did a little bit of dark here under his, between his glasses, and then under his nose, and then I did his top of his legs there. And then came in with the light petal pink, and I colored the rest of him in with the light petal pink. I didn't do the centers of his ears yet, because I'm going to do those with the flirty flamingo. Okay. And then flirty flamingo. I'm going to do the centers of his ears and give him some cheeks. Okay, now I'm going to take the green and I'm going to use the tiny end, the bullet end, and I'm going to color the band on the coffee cup and then the little stripes on his scarf. And some of these spots you're just touching, you know, touching some color in because you can't really color it. And then I'm going to take the dark pumpkin pie and again the little end, and I'm going to color in the other stripes on his scarf. I'm not doing any shading on this part. It doesn't really need it. One more spot here. Okay. And I didn't do it on this one, but I'm just going to put a little bit of this underneath him so that he's grounded. Okay. Now we're going to take this piece, and I've cut the edge of my Stampin' Dimensionals into a little thin strip. And I'm going to put them as close as I possibly can to the edge of this piece here. Here's scissors here. Get another strip here. Go on this side. And then at the underneath, now I'm going to bring in my tea bag. I want to make sure it's able to go in all the way, but I want to make a stopper so that it doesn't go down too far so you can't get it out. So I'm going to go ahead and add some dimensionals down here. And on this corner here, I just will add one more. Okay, set that aside for a minute. Let's bring this part in and glue the calypso coral piece to the front of our card. It is the same size as the front. Now we're going to take our pattern party paper, glue that to the front of that. Okay, now I'm going to bring in some ribbon. This is that crinkled seam binding. And I'm going to wrap it around my tea bag. I want to leave some ends long enough for me to be able to tie a bow. Usually I leave it on the spool, but for this instance you want to do it like this. Okay, now we're going to take these backs off of here. One more. Okay. I'm going to center this up on the front of the card. Now we're going to take our tea bag. I prefer to use the ones that are wrapped, but slide that up in there. Now we're going to tie a bow. Fuff with that a little bit just to get it the way you want it. Make sure that glue is down. Did I forget to take it back off? I did. How to do that? Well, there we go. And then so it just pulls out. I might need to put a note inside so they see it, but there's the card we just made together. Here's the one I did previously. See, the black is just a little bit larger edge, so if you like it smaller, I just mounted it and then trimmed it so just the tiniest bit of an edge. Well, thanks for joining me today at Jamie's Craft Table. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I hope you can find a little bit of time to play with some stamps, ink, and paper.